Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Awesome. Happy New Year's. Hey, can you do the
Yeah.
cool screen things? Can you give us some fireworks or something over there, Jamie?
Welcome to 2024. Oh wow, it doesn't work too well with my screen today. Does
Oh,
the exact opposite.
yeah.
It's like
Okay.
I'm
Well,
hiding from 2024. That's
well,
why
the
Jace doesn't like you to have a virtual background. He loves
maybe try
everyone when
that.
you're doing
Can you do the balloons? Will the balloons work with your virtual?
yeah,
Maybe
something, not the fireworks or the pew pew. Um,
confetti.
the confetti and the balloons, they'll work. But still, the AI is trying to decide between who am I and what am I not
What's the
within this
most
picture,
important
because
thing
the
there?
virtual, the AI is usually also doing the virtual stuff there. So that's what's taking place, and that's a good tip for when you're actually doing um, your actually own presentations in a Zoom platform. Uh, you want to make sure that you've got a very good setup if you're using a an artificial background, or a yeah, if you're using a fake background, or if you're using um, good lighting is required for that. Plus, also if you're having a real background. So that's why Jace has his setup looks really nice with his curtains and paintings from Africa. I'm going to, my office is in the midst of change right now, as is everyone, because it's the new year. So
I love
that's
it.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and with the new year, I'm actually just looking up some I was looking up some links over here to share with you guys that we'll be sharing with you a little bit later on. Um, but one of the main things that we wanted to talk about was this new year and how to really make those New Year's resolutions stick. Because how many of us have gone, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And then 3-4 months in, if that, a lot of times it's 3 weeks in before the end of January, and we've already stopped doing the daily thing, or we've made excuses or whatever, right?
I saw I actually posted a cartoon this morning that said there's two dogs talking to each other, a big dog and a little dog, and the big dog's like, no, the little dog's like, what are New Year's resolutions? And the big dog says, it's a list of things you do for a week.
Ah, that's really funny.
Yeah,
The list of things
it's
you
like,
do for a week. Yikes.
it's just a list of things you do for a week.
That's very funny. That's very funny. Yeah, so one of the best ways to be able to one of the best ways to be able to keep those New Year's resolutions going and really do it is it's all about energy.
Yep.
And so what happens is if your cup is already full and you're like, I want to create something more, well, your cup is already full and it's already dirty from the past year. So it's
Yep.
important we start out with cleaning and cleaning up. And the new year is a great time to do it, to go through that closet, start getting rid of some of the stuff, go donate to Goodwill, clean up a garage, clean up that drawer that's like just that junk drawer that's been sitting in the front in your kitchen for the last 2 years that you just throw everything in. Maybe time to clean up and organize that drawer. But really, the way to get your New Year's resolutions to stick is to clean out first and to start with that clean out.
Yep, everything's energy. So we want to clean out the thought forms that have been in place that were restricting our success. And we have all these thought forms because we've had a whole year. 2023 was a year full of ups and downs. There were moments where stuff worked. There was moments where stuff doesn't work. And subconscious mind, midbrain is looking at what didn't work in case it's a threat, so as we can circumnavigate it in the future. So we hold a lot of these thoughts as a preemptive survival mechanism against things going wrong. And these thoughts are energy. All thoughts are energy. Energy is information as well as a vibrational force. So these thoughts from 2023 of things that didn't work, we want to clear all that out. So that's why we're doing some some breath work, some meditation, some energy work, some visualization, focused on clearing out and removing what you don't want first, then go into creating what you do want. Because as our teacher describes it, you have a big fish and you have a little fish. The big fish is thoughts and beliefs that have existed for years, decades maybe. And some of the work I do deals with ancestral beliefs. So it's not just your belief, it's generational, hundreds of years worth of a belief. That's a big fish. And then New Year's Day, you go, I'm going to do this. You're a little fish, hump. So you have to get rid of the big fish, or you have to slow down or remove or contain the big fish. And that's why focusing on what hasn't worked, making a decided process. There's a couple of different energetic or visualization processes you can do to remove that which is in you that hasn't supported you. Like Amy says, that's your dirty cup. We want to clean the cup before we start putting new stuff in. Then there's less stuff pulling away. And these big fish, they're habits. They're habits of thoughts, habits of action, habits of belief. So we want to, there's a lot of places where we go, oh, that's not positive, only focus on the positive. Yes and no. Both things can simultaneously be true. And that is, we want to acknowledge what hasn't worked, yet we don't want to live in what hasn't worked. So acknowledge what hasn't worked and go, okay, I want to get rid of that habit. I want to get rid of that belief structure. And you can do some of those processes, clearing out the energy of beliefs, the energy of habits. Acknowledging the moment brings it to the surface. So say, for example, you have a splinter in your hand. I point to the middle of my arm. As you can see, my personal training certification must have expired. What's this again? Okay, you got a splinter in your hand. And instead of taking the splinter out, you just bandage it up. You're covering it over with the positive affirmation without removing the original. You have to acknowledge the moment. There's a splinter. Take the splinter out. You have to acknowledge the habit of belief that you have that's restricting and limiting you, which was part that has been generated and fed from the failures of 2023. Remove that by acknowledgement and then by conscious intent to discard it. There's a couple of different energetic processes. Some people write it all down on a piece of paper and burn it with a prayer or a visualization, or write it all down in and pop it into salt water, or imagine a whiteboard and place it up on the whiteboard, cover it in dark blue, then clear it all out with electric violet. Like doing this thing where you create the whiteboard, you write it all up in your mind of what doesn't work, or put images on, and then you say disintegrate and you clean that off. So there's a lot of different processes you can do, but we first want to acknowledge the moment that hasn't worked. And then after we made a set intention to remove those thoughts, those beliefs, with a visualization, meditation, prayer, whatever your process is to connect with something that's more greater than you, do that. And then now I've got sort of a clean plate, a clean cup to fill up with what I want. And then after you've set those new plans for 2024, break it down into some action steps. What's the action steps I can take this month? What are the action steps I can then take this week? And then what are the action steps I can take each day? You want to start to, now that we've cleaned out those habits, you want to replace them with a new habit. And a new habit is created by consistency. Consistency is the primary element that's going to take you anywhere with any success.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we created this retreat coming up in Bali that we're very, very excited about. I'm just going to tag everyone here in the How to Sell from Stage group and just let them know that we're live right now, and to please join us. Join us live right now. And so we've created this this event in Bali because Bali is a very magical place as far as the ley lines in Bali. They are said to cross at some of their most sacred sites. And so Bali has an already natural way for us to cleanse and heal. And so we are really super excited. I'm going to post the link in the chat. You can find out more about Bali. And I'm going to go ahead and post Jace's link here in the chat.
Mm-hmm. And a great thing about Bali is naturally, it's an island and it's full of life. So it's full of growth. So it's full of energy in full flow, in full exposure. It's so alive with energy, but it's surrounded by salt water. And salt water is a cleanser, a disinfector, a disintegrator of negative or past energies. And so part of the process happening here in Bali is we're actually we're going to be removing a whole collection of energetic beliefs that are limiting, energetic beliefs that are blocking you, energetic beliefs that are inherited. A lot of the time people say there's this conflict between being a nice person and being a rich person. You know, there's a lot of poverty consciousness associated. Well, if I make money, then if I'm making money, I'm not really being soulfully connected. And actually the opposite is true. More money just makes you more of what you are. You're a loving person, then you need to have more money because you're the kind of person who's going to share that wealth and share that knowledge. There's a lot of great things you can do if you're more financially abundant. So we're going to be removing all these ancestral belief structures that's in our DNA connected with limited wealth. So you're going to release those tethers that are on your opportunity and abundant consciousness over in Bali.
Can I just share my screen real quick? And
yeah.
I'll share a little bit about it here. So it's Heal the Healers. Now, our belief is that everybody's a healer, you guys. You've caregiven, you've done something to take care of other people. So we're going to start out with traditional Balinese welcome ceremony. These are our accommodations right here. They are absolutely incredible, absolutely beautiful. I'll just flip through some of these pictures here. This is an overhead shot of the area that we're staying. You're going to get to soak up knowledge, wisdom, and you're going to get a level 1 Reiki certification with Paula Vale. She's an amazing master practitioner here and trainer here in the US. We're also going to do the water healing. Now, these are the Bali ley lines, so we're going to take advantage of those ley lines. The sacred water healing ceremony is going to wash away any residual tension, leaving you refreshed, invigorated, and getting rid of all of the stuff that we want to get rid of. We're going to go do a tea tasting. We're going to do so many cool excursions here. There's a whole video here. We talk about it a little bit more so you can dig in. We're going to do the Besakai Temple. This is called the Mother Temple. It's Bali's holiest Hindu sites. It's a complex of over 20 temples showcasing the exquisite Balinese architecture and tradition. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Believed to date back over a millennium. So like, wow, like each temple is dedicated to the different deities. It's really amazing. And then we're going to do a millionaire for a night experience where you're going to get to
yeah.
Really cool. We're going to do the cacao tasting and the gratitude ceremony, plus the full moon meditation. Over in Bali, they have a belief that they amplify that full moon. They believe that the veils are lower where we can communicate with our ancestors and give gratitude. It's all about gratitude. And the gratitude cacao ceremony as well, which is like really amazing. And we're going to do this Pyramids of Chi sound healing experience. There's a picture of that right there. Inside is really cool. There's it inside. So they're playing these sounds and it looks like it's a bit sauna-y. Maybe that's warm. I'm not sure. I can't wait to find out. Then we're going to do a nature walk and we're going to experience the product making. And then we're also going to do the mala bead experience where we make the beads. This is a tradition of over 3,000 years ago in India where the 108 beads together traditionally make the sound of Om. So really cool, really interesting while we're creating through that. And then we're also going to do the fire healing at the fire ceremony in an ashram. It's a special ashram where they create us a dinner and really cool. And then we're going to do some healing exchange with each other. We're going to do the Ubud Monkey Forest experience as well as the Angel Walk. And you're going to get 4K drone footage of all of this. So if you want to host your own retreats in Bali, you'll have footage ready to market if you want to, but everything that is included is all right there. Just click I'm ready to go, or feel free to give one of us a call, and we're happy to chat with you.
Actually, most of what's included there. There's actually a lot of other things that hasn't been written there. Otherwise, the list would be too long. Yet the whole experience in Bali is educational and actual experiences. And so, for example, I was just talking back before about ancestral DNA, ancestral scripts, habits of belief that we act upon, which are thousands of years old, because the human being that we are now survived by having a certain behavior. And people that had different behavior, they died and didn't get the passed on their genetics. So the genetics that kept us safe and restricted in certain aspects that worked a couple of 100 years ago, or a couple of thousand years ago, or 200,000 years ago, saber-toothed tiger, act this way. Whew, I survived.
We
There's
are
no
all
saber-toothed tiger now. So that belief structure that's all inside of us, we're going to have an education on how to release that and how to keep those things that work and remove the things that don't work. Then we go to the Besakai temple, and you get to see and experience ancestral belief that's thousands of years old in a physical structure. Same with the water healing, removing emotion. We're learning how the energy flows within our body, and then we're doing water healing. So the actual physical things that we do is connected to an education. And in Bali, you get 10 times the growth energetically. So if you have a little bit of an intuition, you're like, I think I should call my sister. And next minute, the phone rings and it's your sister. That's going to amplify as we clear out that which is blocking it, and then install more things that open it up and expand it.
Yeah, like Jamie said, like currently when we react to problems, when a problem comes up, even if it's kind of minor, we're still reacting to it as if it's an actual saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
And the huge benefit that Jamie didn't even mention that they're going to get is they're going to get sales training from the two of us.
Absolutely. The consciousness of buying behavior, which is slightly different to sales training, yet what the end result is, you get more sales. Yet you get more sales from people that are very happy they bought, and they're very excited to have a long-term relationship with you as them being your client. So we're going to teach you about how to tap into the buying behavior that's naturally there in every single person, because people don't like to be sold. Stop selling me. Yet people love to buy. Oh, look what I bought. You should go try it. So tapping into that secondary one, which is the buying behavior, is actually a very subtle and powerful understanding system technique.
Also, also a lot of the old sales training, or the sales training, when you hear sales training, you're thinking about manipulative sales tactics, neurolinguistic programming tactics to get people to purchase. We actually do teach that only for the sole purpose for you to recognize it, so you aren't taken in by that kind of tactic. I do not believe in manipulative sales. Absolutely do not believe in it. I think it's unethical. And so I do want to teach you so you know what it is, so that you're not taken in by it.
Yeah.
So you teach that, but not for that purpose.
Yeah. And so we teach it so you have an awareness of when it's being done to you, an awareness of when you're accidentally doing it to someone else, because we're also going to teach you how to read the person's body language. So that's what they're thinking by how they're behaving. And you can read it pretty easily with a 5-year-old, yet when they're a 45-year-old, they've learned to hide it. Yet there's certain ways you can see it when you've been trained, because it's a natural response. And that innate behavior is happening in micro split seconds, where the conscious mind that's trying to cover it up is happening in seconds. So basically it's happening 7 times faster, the instant reaction to a moment that you can read when you know what to look for, versus the conscious mind is like, oh, I'm not going to show how I feel right now. So yeah, there's that sales awareness and buying behavior training, basically like to help you have more clients, combined with the clearing out of all these limiting beliefs that you have that are yours, or they're genetically being passed down to you from generations above.
This is your year to get wealthy. Let's do it.
Yeah. 2024. There's a lot of wonderful little things for that number. And so this is coming back to, what are your goals for 2024? Happy New Year. Here we are. We want to break that cycle. If your past New Year's affirmations haven't worked, perhaps you fall into the trap of trying to fill a cup that's already full with past habits. Remember, little fish, big fish. Eats the little fish.
You don't believe in it. Isn't this a bit of a manipulative sales pitch? In what way? How am I manipulating you? What am I doing exactly that's manipulative?
Basically, Damien, we're just sharing the information that we know and we've experienced over 20 to 30 years that we've seen work. And absolutely, if this does not speak to you, then for all accounts, don't feel obliged to look any further. Absolutely, it's not fair. The other thing is, I don't know, it is a sales pitch. Yeah, you could class it as a sales pitch. You could class it as an opportunity to awareness. You can describe it any way you want. Ultimately, that's your choice. And the thing is to be aware of, we have thoughts and we have memory. And these memories are accessed by the brain, yet they energetically exist in our environment around us. So they heard the saying, looking through rose-colored glasses, or you see a person that's ultra positive, they see the thing as like, oh, there's a good thing, there's a good thing, there's a good thing. Someone that's looking through, and we call them, they're looking through a negative environment, or they're looking at everything, well, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem. And this is so true. I've heard Tony Robbins, he chats about, you are the composite of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Absolutely, because their energy field is mixing with your energy field. So you get the opportunity to see through their observation of life and potential. So, it's how you see it. Dr. Wayne Dwyer, Google him, YouTube video. He talks about, you will believe it when you see it. No, you will see it when you believe it. You will see it when you believe it. So he actually talks from it. Lovely guy. And so our beliefs affect how we observe the environment. So if we constantly go ahead.
Oh, and Damien, I would love for you to, I've invited you, if you'd like to come on live, you're more than welcome to come live and discuss it. I would love to talk about what you think is manipulative about this. Because we're pretty much transparent about everything that we do and all the sales that we make. And I love sales. I'm super passionate about sales because I know that sales can help people. And I have a bit of a saying, and anybody that's been trained under me or works with me has heard it. And it's my definition of a successful sales call doesn't necessarily end in the exchange of money. My definition of a successful sales call ends in both parties feeling empowered. And so if you've walked away feeling manipulated from our talk and not empowered, I would love to know how. Because definitely, and we haven't taught anything manipulative on this call, but we do teach it in our trainings.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to come on, DM me and I will send you a link and you can jump on and let us know what you think is manipulative about it. Because we do not believe in using manipulation to. I would love to talk about Jamie's.
Sorry, I bumped my mute button.
So because we don't believe in using manipulation to sell somebody, and manipulation is when you're basically using tactics in order to get to purchase to someone to buy. I think the amazing Randy said it best. He said, the moment that my intention is to trick you into getting money from your wallet to my wallet, that's manipulation. That's where it becomes deception, right? But if I'm talking to you and selling you something then, and you're offended by it, if you're offended by me doing a sales pitch, then that is something to definitely take a look at. Because if you feel that someone speaking to you is manipulative, do you have a belief that sales is manipulative? And do you have a belief that that's the only way that you can sell something? And so we have to also look at not just our beliefs around money, but what are our beliefs around sales? Right? It's like, are you offended that somebody even tried to sell? Like, I'm never offended. I love it when people sell me something. Now, when I'm offended is when they, like, I had a gal the other day. She messaged me. This is manipulative sales. She messaged me and she said, hey, I really think you're doing great work. I would love to invite you to a mastermind. Are you interested in a high-end mastermind? There's nothing to buy there. I will bring you on as my guest. Sure, great. So then I get this message back and it's a master class, not a mastermind. That's a bait and switch. That's manipulative, right? So that's what I'm talking about by manipulation. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever you said a while ago, I totally agreed with. I was going to add on it. The thing is, yeah, we do see everything is energy. All thoughts and feelings are there, and they've been created from past experience. There's 4 elements of human behavior, and that is, number 1, everybody is suffering. Number 2 is that we're all wearing a mask. Number 3 is we all pretend we're not wearing a mask. And number 4, our suffering is a product of childhood reward or punishment. So in that regard, when we look at the behavior that's happening in and around us, when we feel a low vibe energy or like a negative feeling, or I don't like that, then we also have to look at where does that lie in us for it to be connected to for us to have that experience. Now, I had a wonderful opportunity to observe this in real life. I was held captive for a day in Africa, but I'm a super positive, hey, let's go have fun kind of guy. I didn't even realize we're being held captive. I just knew there was like 12 guys standing around us with guns. But they weren't pointed at us. They were just strapped on the shoulder. And I didn't speak the language. So our guide was chatting with the leader of this guerrilla militia. And this was in Malawi, Africa. And after I'm like, this is going on forever. I want to go and see some giraffes or something. But I was just chatting and happily smiling with the other people in our vehicle, not realizing the extreme danger we were in, because I was looking through the world of what a great adventure, where the person in the front cab was looking through, they had a little more experience than me, looking through the eyes of everyone could die here. And so their experience was much different to me, even though we had a very similar experience. We're both in the same place at the same time, observing the same thing. For me, it was a great adventure. And at the end of it, nothing really bad happened to any of us. And we moved on, and we had some very deep and impactful stories around the campfire very late that night at the next place we stopped. So that can happen. So when you observe things in your environment and go, that really upsets me, or that ticks me off, that concept must exist somewhere also in you, either as a belief or as a judgment. If you have it as a belief or a judgment, you have an energy connected to it, connected to a framework or a construct of belief. And that's a big part of that reaction. Now, if that reaction is making you do... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add in there, it's going to stop your sales. So you're going to have a problem selling your products and services if you have beliefs or judgments around it. So that's the thing that limits you and stops you. Actually with T. Harv Eker years ago. So that was like my very first seminar experience, and it is very high pressure sales at T. Harv Eker. And, but the thing is it was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It was like a 3-day event. It was really awesome stuff, like really great content. And it was a free event. And what was hilarious was at every single break, they did a half-hour sales pitch, maybe 20 minutes to a half-hour sales pitch on some product. It was either their Quantum Leap program or a speaker that just came in or whatever. But at every single break, there was like a pretty hard sell pitch. And what was interesting was this is a free event. You didn't have to sit there for the pitch. If you didn't want to listen to it, you could just get up and leave. But people would sit there and be offended that they were pitching. And I'm like, this is a free event that you're getting. I mean, like, I would have paid $3,000 for that event with the value that I got out of it. I'm sitting there going, if they want to pitch me, I don't care. That's great. This is a free event. I'm like, it's like watching commercials on your TV. You're not angry at that it went to a commercial break. Well, maybe sometimes you are, but I mean, it's the same. It's like the same thing. Like you're getting this free thing, and then you're offended that they're selling you something, right? And their tactics weren't even manipulative. Well, they weren't that manipulative. I'll say they use some of the NLP tactics, and I'll tell you some of them right now. T.R. Becker is a throwback name for real. But it was just super funny to me. And you know what? I guarantee the people that were offended about the sales, offended that any sale was happening whatsoever, are going to be unable to sell their products and services. And potentially are probably to this day, because I know there was a couple of those people that took themselves completely out. They were like, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. I'm so pissed off at this pitch. And I'm like, you should be sitting here taking notes. Me on the pitch, I'm there taking notes. Like, wow, this is really good. And their pitches were good and very entertaining.
Now, there are sales pitches that are happening all the time. When you drive, like Amy mentioned, commercials, that's a sales pitch. When you drive along the road, especially we live in Vegas, so there's billboards everywhere. And they're pitching a huge range of different opportunities for you to experience. As well as like you go into a supermarket, they have on sale. There's information everywhere trying to get you trying to get you to buy their product. I mean, that is life. Also, the parents that are trying to teach their kids to drink, to eat some green vegetables, they're doing a sales pitch, yet they're doing it from a place of not like, hey, eat your broccoli, otherwise your dog will be killed. Manipulative and not very nice. But hey, here we go. You eat this broccoli and we can get dessert. Manipulative still, yet it's coming from the intention of, I want you to live a longer, healthier life with more nutrition in your body, as opposed to, I just want to win this battle of getting you to do what I want. There's action, and then there's the intention behind the action. That intention is a thought. That intention is a belief, and that intention is information and energy combined, creating a behavior. That's why when you go deeper and look at it, what is the energy behind this? What is the intention behind this? Because is certain, like one example of manipulative, which can be manipulative. Let me frame it that way. One way, because Amy and I've done live seminars and been in the entertainment and the production and the event industry for like over 30 years. We've seen a lot, and we've seen it all over the world. One way is the limited resource, creating a limit. A limit is true. So when you use that specifically just to manipulate the person to buy now, then it's kind of being manipulative. But when you're honestly saying, for example, this Bali trip is limited to the number of people who can attend. We only have 20 rooms because each of the experiences are small, intimate processes. The fire ceremony can only have 10 to 12 people at it. So we can't have 100 people. It's not unlimited. So when we say, hey, there's a limited number of spaces, that's true. And that also affects the midbrain, where you go, limited resource, I don't want to be left out.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, so fear of being left out. So we actually teach that. We teach that, yeah, this is it. And you can be honest, or if someone's doing it to you, be aware of it. Like, is it truthful, or is it just a technique?
Yeah, is it actually limited? Are they actually, like, I've seen, companies come in and go, oh, we're limited spots, but it's not actually limited. It's unlimited. They'll take as many as they want, right? So that would be manipulation if it was on the side of not being honest, right? Another little bit of a manipulative thing that that Tony Robbins does. Tony Robbins is a master at sales. He's a master at it, and he does some very subtle psychological manipulation. So one of the things he does is at his big events, there's a table like that's kind of next to the doors. Like he's like, there was like, I don't know, probably 5,000 people at this event. So there's like several sets of doors. And at lunchtime, you go to the table and you grab your food, your lunch, and he serves like a vegetarian soup or whatever, nice, real home cooked meal, like really yummy. You go to that table and you grab your food, and that you keep repeatedly going back and getting enjoyment and free stuff from this table. Then when he goes to pitch, he puts the product on the table so that psychologically you are connecting the free thing with the and the comfort and the home food and the good cooking and stuff like that. You're psychologically connecting it to his products.
Yeah. And let me just clear up something here, folks. Manipulation is not always negative. There's positive and negative. Now, usually we think of manipulation as a negative thing. Oh, now it depends on the intent. Hey, Sherry.
Sherry,
I'm glad you're loving our stories.
Thank you.
Come hang out with us for a cup of coffee and it'll be a 5-hour adventure. Amy and I got so many crazy stories with the people we've worked with and lived with and places we've done all over the world. It's fun. So yeah, just understand positive manipulation. It depends on the intent. It's like, for example, the kid eating the broccoli. Yeah, trust me, I got my niece to eat veggies for her benefit, and I manipulated her. She still loves me. I still love her. And her sister, my sister, her parent, is super grateful. So it doesn't need to be a negative thing. It really comes back to what's your intent. Is your intent to take advantage of people, or is your intent to help people? Tony Robbins has helped hundreds and thousands of people. So we could talk to a lot of people that have gone to Tony's events and go, yeah, I felt uncomfortable. But then I did it, and oh, my life's so much better now. Fantastic. Like Amy's friend who's a real estate mogul out here in Vegas.
She spent $115K on Tony Robbins last year. Now she has spent $500,000 on coaching in her lifetime, and she has a $200 million portfolio. So yeah, so some manipulation you're in favor of. It's at times clever, fun, and helpful. That was my point too. Yeah. So at times, like Damien, similar to like a therapist. Like a therapist is going to use and using humor and all that stuff isn't necessarily manipulative. It's more just like you know, a therapist is trying to help that person, and they're trying to get them out of the mindset that they're in and get them to shift. And sometimes it takes a little bit of psychology, and that's, I mean, and we are trained in that. So yeah, Jamie's dying to say something. Go.
Amy can read my body language. I'm like a parrot. I got something to say. I'm so grateful for you, Damien, for adding that piece of information. And that's a great example of what I was talking about earlier, because Damien said, for you though, watching on the other areas, some manipulation you're in favor of. It's at times clever, fun, and helpful. That was my point too. Thank you, because my emotional reaction when I heard is because I never want to let people down. My biggest fear in life is not speaking, not death, not international stunt actor, died a couple of times, still here. My biggest fear is letting people down, is making someone think that I'm being a liar or something like that to them. So because that's in me, that's my fear. When I read your first comment, isn't this pitch, you don't believe in a question mark, isn't this a bit of a manipulative sales pitch? I responded from what's in me. I read that through my filter, my energy belief of that, I would hate for people to think that I was negatively manipulating them. So I read it through that filter and reacted. As anybody watching this back, you'll see me defending and trying to come from a position of understanding and come from a position of education, so you can see that what I thought you were saying was not true, but you've added more to it, which has given me a stronger understanding now of what you're saying. And I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Also, I'm going to just pop this comment up. This is from John Love. John said, sometimes the free or low cost events are the most impactful that you remember. I was just thinking about a low cost event I attended in Vegas for $99 for the entire day. That one day seminar plus the 6 months of prep work I did making 1 cent in researching this unique niche has led me to designing a multi-million-dollar niche for the upcoming year. The teacher of that event is long gone, but his integrity and influence on me is unforgettable. I never had a chance to thank him for his seminar that day, so I will have to pass the experience I had to others at my free or low-cost teaser events for 2024. Expect more in 2024. Yay, John! I'm going to applaud you big time. That's so awesome. That's awesome,
Expect
John.
more in 2024. That's awesome. I love it, John. I love it, John.
That is great. And that's true. Like I've like some of the best events are the beginning events because they tend to pack a lot of the stuff in those beginning events, you know, because they're really trying to work with you and trying to, you know, work with you further. So.
Those beginning events is like a first date. And I encourage everyone to have some form of beginning event because you can't have a relationship without a first date. This ties into the whole analogy that sales is like kissing. If they're not leaning in, they don't want to kiss.
Yeah,
so if they're not leaning, don't try and sell them.
Don't try to sell them. Yeah. Don't try to sell
them.
They're
pulling away and you try to kiss them.
And that's one of the benefits of learning to read people a little bit better is you can see when they're out. And it's so funny because I'll watch like we go to lots of I go to lots of sales events. I enjoy it. Like on my birthday, Jamie took me to a timeshare, and I love watching other people sell to other people because it's like I'm reading the body language and they're out. They're not interested. They're trying to head towards the door, and the salesperson won't shut up. And so it's like as soon as I see they're out, I stop. I'm like, they're not interested. How else can I help them? And I change the topic and figure out where I can help them. And then then I'm done with the call because again, it's about both parties leaving that call feeling empowered. Right.
And that one of the little tricks for that first date, whether it's a first date or you're talking to a client and you're doing the connect phase. Remember, a sales process, there's 3 steps. There's the connecting, there's the coaching, then there's the closing. In that connect phase, much like a first date, don't try and be interesting, be interested. Show more interest in that other person, be really interested in them. And then they talk, they share. And as they talk and share, you gather all this information so you can make a supportive decision for them. Because remember, like Amy and I says, in a sales process, there have to be 2 yeses. Yes, this person is right for the program. And yes, this program is right for the person. Did I say yes? The same thing? The person is right for the program is right for the person. So it has to be yes from both sides. If not, you can still do a sale with NLP and sales tactics. Yet that sale typically will die off or because you're planting a seed in the wrong garden and it's not going to survive there. So it really has to be right for both parties. And then these sales tactics or these manipulation processes are positive because you're supporting a person to make a decision that is good for them, that helps them achieve what it is they say is important to them based on where they're at and what they want. Now, we've even been in seminars a couple of times. It doesn't happen too often. Yet sometimes there's someone who's like, I want this and I want to buy this. And we're like, no, you can't buy this. It's not right for you. And here's the reasons why. What is right for you is X, Y, Z, and you should go do that. Here's where you can get some great coaching and that from some people. Go check out their event. Or if you want to do it for free, it's slower. It's always slower when you go by yourself. When you try to do it on free, there's this triangle, time, money, and experience or education. So, yeah.
Yeah. Damien says in the audience, first events are at times like the old cliche of drinking from a fire hose. Yeah, I have felt that way at many events. And it's funny because we work at these at events. And I mean, that's what we're around this world all the time. And even like our first time at at Jace events, I've worked I've worked with Jace we worked with Jace for quite a while. I love working with him. And,
Yeah, great guy.
it was so funny because I get in it and I'm like, already, I'm like an hour in and I'm like, I'm crying already. This is already hitting me emotionally. Oh my God, I still have more stuff to deal with. I'm already drinking from the fire hose. And we've done it over and over and over again. And we've been to them over and over and over again. We still feel that way. So
yeah. And Jace's How to Sell from Stage program is great. If you want to sell from stage, his program is great. Like, I have worked with and for a number of different people over many years in regards to speaker training or sales training or stuff. His structure, his process for how to create your talk and little elements in the delivering the talk that actually reads to your audience in such a way that they're inspired, they're motivated, there's a desire created for them to take the next step. Now, the next step is a sales conversation, and that's where to decide whether or not the program's right for them or not. Yet his system is great. It is great. Now, if his system was just to get money, it would be manipulative. His system is to help people have a positive change for their life and their environment. So then that's not. So it comes back to intention again. That there's some things that look identical from the external, yet the internal is really where you want to be seeing what's the true intention behind this. And never be afraid in any sales conversation to ask that question to the salesperson. You'll see if they're trying to be manipulative, you'll see them go. They'll stop and sit back. There'll be this micro expression of shock. Let me see. But it'll be like this. And they'll lean back a bit. If they're trying to be manipulative, say, what is your real intention here? So
yeah. Hey, I'll call salespeople out on their tactics right in front of them. Cheryl says, my first date was in 2022 at a How to Sell from Stage. I was looking to take a step and say yes for 2023. It was a yes for both sides, meaning this company and Cheryl was a yes. This last year was one of the most life-changing years in my entire life. Choosing to invest in myself was new to me, as I've always made a point to invest in others. There was no manipulation. You and Jay Souter's Sell from Stage group was awesome. This is not a paid advertisement. He has a great system. Thank you for that. This is not a paid advertisement. Thank you for that. And if you guys want to talk about joining Jace's black belt, feel free to reach out to me, book a call on that Bally thing, and I'll jump in and we'll talk. We can talk about, whatever you want to talk about. I can also, I'm happy to do a sales makeover for you. So if you want to jump on a phone call and you want me to take a look at what your sales process is, how you're looking at structuring everything. One of my superpowers is I can monetize just about anything. So I can take a look at your structure and find out where the money's leaking out of your company. So I'd be happy to take a look at that for you.
Amy is exceptional at that. And my expertise in this area is basically the emotional energy that's taking place in the room, in your presentation, in the potential clients, like how people are actually feeling based on their different character type or personality type within any given situation. And that's kind of come full circle with what we've been talking about today, is like to make 2024 your best year yet, looking at the energy that's in you and your beliefs and everything that are in you that may limit or sabotage your New Year's resolutions. Remember, we want to clean out the old to put in the new. Sorry, I just chatted over you there. Amy, what was that?
That's right. Right. Clean up the old and then bring in the new. And then how are we going to stick to it?
Yeah.
How are you going to hold yourself accountable? Are you going to get a coach? Are you going to find something to hold yourself accountable? Are you going to make those changes? Are you going to finally eat that frog? Eating the frog is basically getting through the stuff that you dread or lament about. Like for me, it's paperwork. So now I start my day with paperwork so that it's out of the way first thing of the day, right? That's eating the frog.
And one thing to make sure that you have in your New Year's resolutions that a lot of people that are in the entrepreneurial side of life forget. And that is, where is the joy or fun for you? It's not just about making money. It's about quality of life. What is something that makes you happy? What is something that makes you excited? What is something that stirs your soul? And make sure that you write that in for your New Year's resolution. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah once a week, or I'm going to do this once a month, or I'm going to go to Bali. No, but that's the reason why Amy and I have this. Like, we love beaches, nature, coast. Amy loves little animals such as the monkeys and experiencing different cultures. So that's why we added into our list for 2023 that in 2024 we would do this. And so this is where it's at. But make sure there's something in your New Year's resolution that's all for you in regards to your joy, your happiness. That's not necessarily monetary, it's experiential, because you're a body with physical sensations and experiences that create a chemistry change in your body. And so that will also help you move forward. Put a little carrot at the end of one of your goals. When I achieve this, I'm going to reward myself with this. And Jace does that really good. When you go through his training, he does the whole, when you do a talk, don't count your numbers, go celebrate, then count your numbers. Your talk's over, so the numbers are going to happen regardless. Go celebrate what you just did. You got on stage, you got in front of a group of people.
You made it happen. You took the steps.
Celebrate that.
Yeah, definitely celebrate those little wins. I love it. Awesome, Jamie. Well, thank you guys. We went way over time today.
I know. Thanks everyone for joining in.
Thank you, everyone. Jamie, what should they remember?
Hey, folks, it's a tough world out there. Everybody is going through some struggle, be it small, be it big, be it weird. And it doesn't really matter. There's something you can do to make the world a better place. It's quite simple. Just share a smile. So when you're out and about, share a smile with a stranger. And if you're adventurous, give them a little wink.